How's everybody? We're back talking some more Titans Season 4 on the channel, Episode 5, the penultimate episode, I guess, technically, of Part 1. But we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here, finding out the truth about Sebastian and the plan that Mother Mayhem has for him. Since the blood moon is in the air, so they have to try their best to keep him away from her just for a few more hours. 6 hours! They only need to keep Sebastian away from her for 6 hours in total, so Mother Mayhem is throwing out all of the tricks here. I wasn't sure where we were going to go with Connor with that reveal last week with him throwing up these snakes in the toilet, but using that snake, this toilet snake, to terrorize the Titans, pretty interesting plan. A lot more creative than I was anticipating, and it does some serious damage to people too. One random guy gets his face eaten off screen. Would have liked to have probably seen that, but it was still pretty gross just seeing that revealed when Gar and Jinx stumble upon the guy. One big thing going into this week's episode I was looking forward to getting more of is the developments between Rachel and Sebastian, because Sebastian and Rachel are pretty much the only ones that kind of understand each other, at least what Sebastian is going through. So I found many of the scenes that they had with one another this week pretty endearing because of the fact that Rachel is trying her best to comfort and reassure Sebastian despite his concerns just over the possibility of the horrors he may be forced into doing, and that he does have a choice at the end of the day whether he wants to be good or evil. It's just unfortunate that for the most part Sebastian is pretty easily manipulated, and we have pretty much a good idea he's going to end up being on the dark side of things by the end of Part 1. There's so many other big storylines going around. It is kind of unfortunate that this season so far Tim Drake has kind of taken a backseat after he was such a vital character in the last season, and I think even he realizes it because he's complaining that he feels like he's of no use to the team, and he's just anxious to get out there and prove himself and get into action in some shape or form. Of course, the action he gets into this week, he kind of realizes he's not ready yet for said action. When he goes out to try and fight the giant toilet snake, inevitably he fails and he runs away with Bernard and causing the team to kind of formulate a real plan to face off against this giant snake. When it comes to Connor, I was certainly suspicious going in because of the fact that he's been hiding the stab wound and the fact that he threw up snakes from everyone in the team. And I just found that kind of weird that he would just kind of not reveal that info. Plus the fact that he's just acting very strange, but not in the usual type of strange way that Connor acts, with the way he's making up excuses for why Rachel needs to switch with him to take care of Sebastian. And surprise, he's being possessed by Mother Mayhem. I kind of figured that Mother Mayhem controlling Superboy in this instance was going to be a bigger deal just because Superboy is so powerful, but he gets taken out pretty easily in this case by Jinx, then is strapped to a table with kryptonite for the rest of the episode. Just kind of a weird missed opportunity there. I figured Mother Mayhem controlling someone of Superboy's caliber could be pretty vital to her plan. Maybe it's just me, but in this instance, now that we have Connor locked down, I really didn't like the idea of the team splitting up with Corey and Rachel taking Sebastian out of Star Labs to another location. We only had a couple hours left. I feel like we could have really dealt with this situation all within Star Labs and we would have been okay. It just seemed like an unnecessary potential risk to me, taking Sebastian out of Star Labs into the open to this diner that we've seen many times before. When Connor does wake up though, it was horrifying to me seeing all of these magic snakes moving around his abdomen. It was really gross, and I wasn't really sure how they were going to get out of the situation. It was kind of cool just to have Jinx throw in John Constantine, even though he doesn't show up, but it was just kind of cool to get that name drop. The actual plan to save Connor, I certainly didn't see it coming just because it was just so crazy and out of left field. We're gonna have Gar shapeshift into a virus and carry Jinx's blue ash into Connor to kill the snake, which I guess Gar is able to do all of a sudden, to shapeshift into a virus. I don't know necessarily if that's a thing. All the comics that I've read, I've never seen him shapeshift into a virus, but I guess, sure. We barely get to see Gar shapeshift as it is these days, which is such a bummer because that's kind of like his whole power set, him being able to become other beasts, Beast Boy, and we don't even get to see him shapeshift into a virus. I guess that probably would have been too absurd to show. But nevertheless, he does turn into a virus. Even regardless of the possibility that if Gar does not succeed, both Gar and Connor dies, you know that they're gonna survive in the end. Thankfully, Gar does save the day. He gets to come back to normal size in this giant vat of orange soda looking liquid. That's what it looked like to me. It just looked like a big vat of orange Fanta that he came back to normal size in. That's the nicer of the two reactions. The other one was pretty gross, seeing the giant snake come out of Connor's mouth, but Tim does get finally his moment to shine. He kills the snake with the bow staff, saving his man Bernard. That was actually kind of cute. They've been kind of hinting at this relationship kind of blooming between Bernard and Tim, but I think this really sealed the deal for the two, especially because of the fact they kiss later on. So good for them. Good for Tim Drake and Bernard. We're going to give him something to do with the show, and it's going to be a romance. As interesting as I find the character of Mother Mayhem, I really wish that more of her scenes were compelling, because there's only so much interest you can garner just pacing around this lair and sending minions to do the legwork, which we still get a lot of here in this week's episode 2, between the snakes and calling upon Trigon's power to figure out where Sebastian is. She's a very interesting character. I just feel like they're not utilizing her to the greatest possibility. We had that one little fight a couple episodes back, which was pretty awesome. Otherwise, she's kind of just been in one central location for most of the series so far. I was kind of bummed out, though, that she sacrificed her one friend to be able to call upon the power of Trigon to figure out where Sebastian was, because that is a ride or die friend. If she will allow you to kill her to get your plan to go forward. I don't have any ride or die friends like that, and I don't know if I would really want to in this circumstance either. Once Corey, Sebastian, Rachel, and Sadira are all within this diner, Sadira doesn't really instill any sort of confidence with their situation, pretty much telling them straight up that they're going to fail. Corey doesn't have the skills to protect him, Sebastian doesn't really have a choice at the end of the day, so he just needs to die before it's too late, even giving us a possible glimpse of a future with Corey actually having a kid with Dick Grayson. Pretty adorable, having these flashbacks, or potential futures, if you will, of them together with this little Titans birthday party. But if Sebastian lives, you're not going to get that possible future. If you're fans of Dick and Corey getting together and having this beautiful child, the guy needs to die. Corey, though, chooses to not kill Sebastian in this moment, and almost instantaneously, as she chooses not to do so, it kind of blows up in her face that she made the wrong choice, since Mother Mayhem shows up to cause some havoc. It's stopped by Sebastian. You know, he does the thing that you expect him to do. He leaves, and he goes and arrives with Mother Mayhem at her lair. As the people are chanting Brother Blood, we're getting closer and closer to him becoming Brother Blood, and we're only got one episode left, so I have to imagine that next week he's probably more than likely going to be Brother Blood, which is kind of unfortunate because we have that gap now between part 1 and part 2. So even if he does become Brother Blood next week, we don't have a time frame yet for the other 6 episodes that more than likely are coming out at some point in 2023. Who knows? But now you've heard my thoughts on this new episode of Titans. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of episode 5? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? Share all your thoughts down below, and any predictions you may have where we're going to go with the next episode, the part 1 finale, if you will. Thank you guys. Always share the reviews. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.